think that's our shot.
I can't really see it. You're the only one that can.
Yeah, it's not about seeing, so it's about faith.
It's about faith. Yeah, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, Doug. Out the Gully with Gully meets Amsalu podcast. Yeah, man. Like,
I appreciate the platform, man. I really do.
I'm glad, bro.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I think it's a good springboard.
You know? And what I love about you saying that, bro, is that Uguti, the purpose of Amsalu podcast, the purpose of the platform Amsalu podcast sits on, Amsalu Media, is for content like this, for initiatives and ideas like Out the Gully with Gully, seeing the need and seeing how we can reflect God within the need.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. But yeah, bro, today we back, episode 2.
Yeah. Been super excited for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, you know, after the first one, I was like, yo, man, I want to shoot the second one. You know. But life gets in the way. But yeah, I'm just glad that we could get together and do the second one.
How'd the hype feel for you? Like, how'd the getting your responses? Because I know for me, like, I'm not a famous person.
I mean, debatable. Depends on who you ask.
You know what I mean? But like, to the extent of what we know as fame, in terms of like, there's a PR team and all this, and you are the thing people are waiting to see. And then you start having that. It's a little crazy, right?
It is. It's different. Yeah, because I mean, obviously in my recovery space, like a lot of people obviously were super interested and they wanted to hear it, and then they heard it and they're like, oh my gosh, Kali, like your podcast, and it's super epic because people grasp it and people responded really, really well. So it's really good. And then it's like, when's the next one coming out? When's the next? And then that pressure, you know, comes along with it. But I'm so grateful that people actually take some time out in their lives to give it a listen and to hear what we were all about. And I think that's the whole real purpose behind this, you know, give inspiration, give hope, in the aspect of recovery, and to speak about things that are difficult to speak about, man. I think that's the platform as well. And soon, obviously, we'll having a couple guests coming in as well, which is going to be super cool, to interview a couple people and get their perspectives as well on kind of what we're trying to do here. So yeah,
bro, and what I love about it as well is this is evidence that we are building Out the Gully with Gully. We've chosen so we didn't necessarily unpack that in the first episode we dropped. Initially, the first episode was meant to be on your platform. Yeah. Which, as you've mentioned as well, life gets ahead of us, so things haven't been aligned in such a way that we can build that up. But so that's why the springboard is here.
Oh, ever so grateful.
You know, that's why we also, just because the platform, maybe it's Sunday, I'm feeling preachy.
Yeah, just preach it, brother.
But just because there's no platform, it doesn't mean the conversations shouldn't be had. And just because there's no platform to validate the conversation doesn't mean the conversations don't need to be had.
100%.
Especially with recovery, especially with how big I believe your podcast is going to expose that recovery is damn near for everyone.
Yeah, in every aspect.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
Like, and what I appreciate about the recovery space we come from is that you meeting addicts from all walks. It's not a zeroed in. So I'm even bold enough to say married people. Just off your marriage, there's something you need to recover from. Just off your, recovery is like our previously titled episode, a way of life.
Correct.
And I've been seeing that, Doug. I've been seeing that over my weekend. I've had a terrible weekend, by the way.
You want to unpack that?
Hell yeah. It's the first thing I wanted to do. Like,
well, this is the place to do it, man. You can be vulnerable here. It's a safe space, mate.
Listen, bro, and I hope you'll allow me to use your safe space to tap into this kind of vulnerability. But I found myself in a predicament where my intentions were innocent, but the outcomes of the plans weren't. So we went out with some gents who know I'm in the recovery journey, don't pay too much mind to it. Like, to them, it doesn't
register really.
Yeah.
Because they've never walked the journey, right?
Exactly. And usually if I come up to you and you meet me for the first time and I tell you I'm in recovery, you're just going to take my word for it. And you're not seeing me like scroll, like you're not seeing me in a bad way. So it doesn't click, Uguti, this could be potentially a problem.
Yeah.
And so I've been hanging out with these guys with this whole innocence, I'm in recovery aspect. But then I watched how my indecision or letting things just go with the flow get me into spaces where it wasn't necessarily traumatic or freak me out that I'm in those spaces.
Yeah.
But I was so annoyed by all the things. I got so annoyed by seeing who Judah once was.
Yeah. Seeing
Judah being the guy who's drinking and plans are now happening on the fly. There's people who I boast and pride myself that, no, I care about this person, but it's me during the night saying, no, we'll leave in 2 hours, bro, I promise.
Yeah.
4 a.m. we still haven't left, so I experienced that, and it made me look back at my recovery like, okay, how seriously am I taking my recovery?
100%.
And am I still white knuckling? That was a big thing. Yeah. Am I still white knuckling? Because as much as I'm off the stuff I think is a problem, I'm not dealing with me.
I think just to give some context on white knuckling, if some people don't particularly understand that terminology in recovery, I think white knuckling is just basically doing what you need to do to just stay clean and sober. But I think what you've mentioned now is, I'm white knuckling it, so I'm just doing what I have to do, but I'm not actively working in my recovery, and doing the things that I need to do to prevent those situations from happening.
Exactly.
And I think, well, thank you first of all for being vulnerable and sharing that. I just think that it's a difficult one because in recovery, generally, you don't want to lose those friendships, right? You don't want to lose those friends, and you don't want to make it seem like you're like the odd one out.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, I'm in recovery. Because people, as you said, don't necessarily understand it. And they don't see you in your worst space. So it's like difficult for them to go, oh snap, let's not give Judah a drink, or let's not invite Judah to this specific setting.
Yeah.
And I think complacency also plays a big role in what you said. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but being complacent in the sense of, I can go hang out with these guys. I can go to those environments where you're in your recovery journey. I don't think you've reached a stage of being able to do those things and being strong and having accountability in those spaces. Shooting me a message, yo, Gali, man, I'm going out with the gents. I'm going to, I don't know, we're going to Florida Road, going to go have a couple, have some food, have maybe a drink or two, but you're not going to be drinking alcohol, you have a Coke or whatever, but you're going in those settings. Then you could have like a springboard of somebody going, yo, Judah, man, do you think that it's like a good idea, man? Or do you want me to pull in with you? And those are the type of things that in recovery, that's why we say community is so important, because in those aspects, those are the type of people you can reach out to and be like, yo, man, I'm thinking about doing this, but is it a really good idea? And then they can kind of give you the understanding of maybe not right now.
Yeah.
Or maybe, sure, but maybe leave at like 9, 10 o'clock at night. Oh, we're getting there at 6. Yeah, maybe leave at 9, man. So you're not overextending your time there, because you were the one that said, oh yeah, I'm the one now that's saying we're going to leave in 2 hours, then it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? Because it kind of got out of control. So it's just having those type of things and remembering those type of things in your recovery journey. Because at the end of the day, we're speaking obviously off air, and how recovery is such a selfish thing. But yeah, I think the difference of being like selfish in your recovery journey and being selfish as a human being are two very different things. Which I was kind of explaining, but you have to be selfish, man, because at the end of the day, the journey is always for the person in recovery, because you're not doing it for mom, you're not doing it for dad, you're not doing it for these people, because if you're doing it for those people, it's going to fail. just to give a little example, I did recovery for my ex, and it's like I was in recovery for a year and I relapsed like every 3 months because I wasn't doing it for Gulliver. I was doing it for her.
Yeah. She wants too much from me. I've been trying and I've been showing.
And then 3 months, it's like, I've been clean for 3 months. Like, why can't the relationship go back to the way it was? Well, it doesn't really work like that, Gulliver. And because my mindset was, I'm doing it for somebody else, it wasn't like I'm truly feeling like I have an issue. So I think you kind of just got to go back to the basics of why are you doing this in the first place? And I think that gives you the confidence and understanding as well that no matter how far along on your recovery you are, there's just some scenarios and situations in life that you just got to let go of, man. That you can't be a part of. And I mean, that happens in your own time, don't get me wrong. But I think I've been in recovery now for almost 2.5 years. And there are some places that I'm like, nah, I can't do it. And there's some people that I'm just like, nah, can't do it. And not because I don't like you or not because I hate you, but you're not good for me. You know, you're not good for me or my recovery. So I think that's kind of like the gist of the situation that I think maybe you find yourself in.
Yeah, full disclosure, I wasn't the one who was 4 a.m.ing. I'm just saying.
Just want to put that out there.
This was the alcoholics' responses to me, and I knew those responses were coming, you know what I mean? So like the whole time the other thing about being in these spaces is that the unhealthy thing is that you're just going there to beat yourself up, especially if you're in recovery. Because the whole time you're sitting there, you're like, ooh, was that how I looked when I drank? The atmosphere isn't real. The alcohol makes the atmosphere feel like, oh, people are connecting and vibing.
Correct.
And I was just like, I was so pissed, Doug, and I'm so grown.
You kind of realize that in those spaces, you're like, yo, man, I'm actually this is not my vibe.
Because one thing I think addiction does do is stunt your growth.
100%.
Maturity goes out the window because everything from, hey, I gotta take care of business to, no, I need 300 rand more.
To get.
Then we can get one more bottle.
Yeah.
Or we can get this. Next morning, I eat mal.
Correct.
You know, but
walking from Hillcrest to Panton vibes.
Bro.
Yeah, no, true stories. Such true stories.
As you said, I'm like,
I've done that.
Did I ever tell this homie that I walked from Hillcrest?
I've just done it, man. I've just done it as well, man.
The common thread in addiction. You know, before recovery rooms, I thought I was a special case. And I think we have said this before. And then you get in there, you're like, oh, I'm not the only one who's gone to prison. I'm not the only one who's walked home. I'm not the only one who's been stranded in a beach somewhere, not knowing.
I think I do have one though that I don't think anyone's done. I really do.
Okay.
I really do, and it's a crazy one, man. I actually sold my car for drugs, man. Like, I don't think, like, I mean, there could possibly be like people. Don't get me wrong. There are 100% people out there that are like gamblers. That are addicted to gambling, that probably put their mortgage on the line, you know, or put the house on the line, or probably their car on the line. But whenever I share my story of like, yo man, I sold my car and bought some crack cocaine, people are like, what did you do? And it's like, yo man, in that moment it seemed logical because this was my plan, right? Let me explain to you how like my mind thought back then, right? Which is just absolutely insanity. Is my ex-partner had a car, right? And I had a car. And I was sitting one day and I think I had just left this job, or obviously got fired for not rocking up to work as usual. And I was sitting at home one day and I'm just like, you know what? She has a car, so maybe if I sold my car, we still have a car to like drive around with the kid and whatever, if we want to go places, but then I'll buy a bike, right? Makes more logical sense because like I'm by myself, like, you know, it's cheap on fuel. You start lying to yourself about all of these things.
I get this money.
Yeah.
This goes to the bike.
And then this goes, right? And in my mind, I'm like, yo, no, I'm going to give her this amount of money. I'm going to use this amount of money for the bike. And then I can use this amount of money for my substances, right?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I put it on Facebook, and this guy from Phoenix reaches out. He's like, yo man, I want your car. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there right now. I literally had 50 rand petrol in my car. I still don't know how the car got there, but it got there, man. I drove all the way from Panton to Phoenix. It got there. And he gave me this whole big wad of cash, and now I'm like, oh my word, I'm walking around with so much money. But anyway, I was fearless. So first thing I do, I get back to Panton, right? And the first thing I do is go to buy my substance. I didn't go buy the bike like I said I was going to. I go use the money for substance, and before you know it, I'm 2-3 days on a bender and spent 4 or 5 grand. And it's like, oh snap, that was the money I was supposed to give. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, because those are the memories and the moments where you think to yourself, how was my brain thinking that kind of I lied to myself in such a way and manipulated myself in such a way that my brain thought it was okay to do that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, as you said, there's so many things that people can be like, yeah, I relate to. But for me, that's the one I'm like, yo, man, I don't know if anyone can really, because it's a big one. It's a big one. But yeah, it's a crazy one. It definitely is.
In that, I think the common thread today that's popping up is vulnerability. And so I mean, that's a vulnerable story. It's not like stand in front of thousands and say, hey, I did this, but it takes vulnerability to get there. And bro, I'm you know me, I'm a psychological based person.
Correct.
So I like to get to the bottom of things.
That's why I avoid you so much.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. No, rightfully so.
No,
you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with my mom, and I was being vulnerable with her. I'm like, dude, you know, it's never a compliment when I hear things like, oh, but you know, you're such a deep thinker, and this, or the way you see things is very like complex, and I'm like, you just saying you don't like hearing what I have to say to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Generally, older people don't like listening to younger people.
Yeah, but like even younger people, just because of how I, for me, you share a story with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the root? And you're like, no, I was still trying to show you the branches and the flowers.
Yeah, but you want to get to the core.
Like, no. None of that matters. The roots is that you're an idiot.
Wow. I mean, you can't necessarily say that to someone, but
yeah.
I mean, you can, but don't.
I've learned that you can't blurt out the truth anyhow. Yeah.
I mean, you can say the truth.
Yeah.
Just delivery is vitally important.
So that's why. So I was saying the annoying thing is that you guys, you say I'm a deep thinker, but if I say share some of my deep thoughts, they're all in the place where I was calling out something in you. Right? And so I get wary of sharing my opinions and things like that. But now I would like us to unpack vulnerability.
It's a big one.
Yes.
I say it's a big one because for me, it took me a really long time to become vulnerable. In the sense of actually letting people understand the brokenness. And because it's not easy sometimes to be vulnerable in those spaces and to have those conversations. But I think the more I became vulnerable, the easier it was to heal those aspects of my life. But yeah, vulnerability is a huge one, man. And big ups to anyone who is vulnerable.
Let me start here. Let's look up the definition.
Crazy. I don't have the Google definition in my brain. But
don't worry about it. That's why we have cell phones. But why can't I find my dictionary now?
But yeah, while you're looking for that, I think for me, vulnerability is basically being able to speak about things that is even difficult for you to speak about to yourself. You know what I mean? In all aspects of life or any different things that have happened in life. So, and vulnerability doesn't just happen like at any moment. Like you have to kind of be ready for vulnerability in the right spaces to the right people. You know, and it takes a lot out of a person to be vulnerable. Because after you share that, you're like, oh my word, like a lot of people now know this information about me. What are people gonna think? And I think for me, that was what always hindered me from it, because I always wanted to be the cool, funny, outgoing guy that like everyone thought was happy all the time. But meanwhile, I come out and be happy with you, but I go home and I cry alone, you know?
Yeah.
And so me being vulnerable to those people wouldn't make me feel safe that I had shared something with them. And how they would receive it. So I would just never do it. Until you get to the point of, well, the point that I got to was I can be vulnerable, and I was vulnerable with Jesus Christ first, you know. Although he already knew everything about my life, but I still wanted to be vulnerable with him in that space. Spiritually and just unpack all of those things. And then I was able to share it with psychologists and people who professionally could help me, because that's what I would also like to encourage people to do, to see professionals with regards to any form of problems that you're facing in life. And then on top of that, being vulnerable in spaces like my recovery group or our recovery group that we go to, is being vulnerable enough for somebody in the room who isn't vulnerable to go, wow, he shared that. He was vulnerable enough to share that. And that kind of gives other people a platform to be vulnerable. You know? And I think that when I'm vulnerable in those spaces, I'm being vulnerable because I want to share my experiences and heal from them, as well as to give other people a platform and ability to go, oh my word, I can also share those experiences. Or I love it when after a group setting, like somebody will come after me and be like, yo, Kali, bro, that was so great, like what you shared, and I have a similar thing, and then they relate to it, and then you can kind of have a conversation regarding that, and then they can be vulnerable with you one-on-one, or in the group setting. But that's my definition. I don't think Google did it as well as I did.
No, it doesn't.
No, I'm kidding.
I wanted to give up on the definition, actually, because what? Yeah. Vulnerability is the state of being open to physical, emotional, or structural harm. It defines a system or individual's susceptibility to danger, attack, or damage. I think I'm giving up on AI, bro.
Yeah, that doesn't really delve into it, does it?
Yeah. So
that is literally the explanation.
I'm gonna go with my definition.
Yeah.
I think vulnerability is exposing the roots of problems, of feelings, of state of being. So in exposing the roots, you have more access as the person listening to me. If I expose my root to you, it's like, now you know me. Now you know what I deal with.
Yes.
Trade carefully with it, you know. And so the reason I'm asking, what do we understand about vulnerability, is because we were having a conversation earlier, and we're like, okay, being vulnerable, is it sharing your story? Is it just sharing your story and including the gritty details?
Yeah.
Or is it exposing who you're really trying to recover from, or the defects you're really trying to recover from? You know, like I've been noticing that my vulnerability can be like, oh yeah, I used to drink like this, or I used to think, but I won't say I manipulate people still, or used to, either or, because right now I'm processing it in a sense of that I'm in recovery, which means these things haven't been fully recovered, these things haven't been fully restored. And so I still need to be, the journey is actually me noticing these traits more than me, as you said earlier, white knuckling. Yeah. And so with vulnerability in the recovery space, don't you think it gets oversaturated? The doom and gloom, the gore. Does it still sound like vulnerability to you, or is it war stories? You can define war stories. you missed the definitions here.
No, I'm not missing definitions, because I'm probably going to get it wrong and people are going to comment, Gulliver, that's not it. No, but war stories, I think, is when you kind of sharing so like we shared, we walked from Hillcrest to Pinetown or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, I just did that. That's sharing a war story, right? Or I sold my car for drugs or whatever. That's a war story. Sharing all the bad experiences or the hectic experiences you had in recovery.
As if you're a hero.
As if you're a hero, correct.
I did.
Or I did this, and you're trying to better each other to see who did the worst thing, and it's like, mate, what are you doing? Keep quiet, stop that right now.
Right.
But yeah, so that's war stories. But I think vulnerability is as you said, I think it's are you sharing it for the gritty stuff, or you're sharing it for to move and heal. And for me, it's more of the moving and healing that people want to be vulnerable. And you also got to take into consideration that a lot of people who I can speak for myself, I can't actually speak for other people, but for me, I don't understand that other people have been through what I've been through or can relate to what I've been through. Because there's certain things in life that are very, very heavy to carry. So me being vulnerable is not to say I'm trying to be like, oh, this thing's really bad and it's happened to me and probably none of you. It's more of this thing has happened to me and it hurt me so much, but I'm wanting to speak about it because I want to be able to move and heal past this specific thing. And because we're in the rooms of recovery and there's people and that community of people who care and love deeply and take recovery really, really seriously, when you share something like that, someone will come up to you afterwards and be like, yo, man, like that was amazing that you were able to share that. This has been my experience with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you can take something from that because now that person shares that vulnerability with you. They share that experience with you. So I think being vulnerable is sharing your experiences in the heartache of life and the hard situations and hard times. So I honestly think being vulnerable is such a positive thing. And like I try and encourage people to be vulnerable, but it's hard, man, because it's
You know how much I judge you for your vulnerability.
Why do you judge me, mate?
All the time, Doug. Like I don't know why you
didn't even hold back. He's like, yeah, all the time,
surprised. Yeah, like, I always question, like, are you really being vulnerable right now? You know, are you really? Because I think in what you're saying, the difficulty of vulnerability, is that I'm okay when it's time to share my story the way I want to.
Yes.
But the moment you inquire deeper, it's like, hey, where you going?
That's the one.
I told you there was a scar there. What business you got knowing? Back off.
That's the difference between telling war stories, as you said, and actually being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be vulnerable, you're going to be vulnerable the full way through. You're not going to be vulnerable to a certain point and then be like, yeah, I'm no longer vulnerable now. Like, I want to share a story and then be like, yeah, but I don't want to talk about it. I mean, people do that, and that's because maybe what they're unpacking is a lot, and like maybe they don't necessarily want to delve down too much into that same thing. But at the same time, you'll give the grace to that individual, or you'll be like, yeah, I share this thing, and if you ever want to talk about it again, like, here's my number, or you know, I'm here every Monday, you can come have a chat with me, or whatever the case may be.
So in recovery, when I'm being vulnerable, sometimes I have to catch myself because I might be masking. There might be someone in the room that I might be masking for. There might be something about the topic that I might be masking for. About what we're talking about. And so how do you, maybe in your life, or if you were to think about it, how do you unmask that? Because like you said earlier, I can get up on the mic and be as vulnerable as I want.
Correct.
But you won't know a single thing about me still.
Yeah. Do you know why this is such a tough question to answer?
He's even sweating.
No, I'm really not. No, but do you know why it is such a hard question to answer, man? It's because I was like I feel like I invented the mask, man. You know? So your question of like, am I just masking the vulnerability or am I actually being vulnerable is such a hard one for me to like unpack.
Almost makes you speak Zulu, doesn't it?
Yo, if I could fluently, I would, but let's not head down that road. But yeah, man, I think it's such a tough one, Judah. I think because at the end of the day, man, you only know why you're sharing what you're sharing, you know? And as you said, like, there were reasons behind why you had disclosed that you had cheated and whatever the case may be, and what reaction you wanted and how you wanted the situation to pan out, and you didn't want the nitty-gritty of, please, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't know if I can ever forgive you for what you did. And now you were trying to backtrack on how you can fix that. But the whole reason about you being vulnerable and telling the truth, basically, is not for that. You're doing it because of the human being that you are, right? Because you're not a liar, you're not a cheater by nature, right? In your heart of hearts, you're not that individual. So when you do those things, you feel guilty and it's eating you inside and you're like, I have to say something. So you say it, but I think in the context that you're saying is you say those things expecting something. And I think what recovery taught me is when you're being vulnerable, whether you're putting on a mask or not putting on a mask, it's not for anybody else but yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I can share and put a mask on, but I'm the idiot because I'm being vulnerable to random people. You
It's
get what I'm
crazy. I
saying?
was saying that in my head. I'm like, I'm the idiot.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
okay, well, I'm not calling you an idiot, just putting it out there. I'm not calling him an idiot, I'm just saying. But you know, it's that type of thing. Like, I'm being vulnerable for me, man. I'm not being vulnerable for these people. I'm not being vulnerable. I'm not manipulating a situation here. I'm being vulnerable because something inside of me is feeling shame, guilt, hurt, all of the above emotions that come with being vulnerable, or come with the hurt or the trauma or whatever's come out in your life or happened in your life. So when I'm being vulnerable, whether I'm wearing a mask or not, man, it's still my story. It's still what I'm saying. And if I am wearing a mask, it's just like you're defeating the whole purpose because you're trying to share and be vulnerable with other people and they're taking it at what you're saying. They're not thinking, oh, is this guy wearing a mask or is he not wearing a mask or whatever the case may be. So I think you just got to dial it back to I'm being vulnerable for me. At the end of the day. So you're being vulnerable to your ex or whatever the case may be that you cheated. You weren't telling her because you wanted her to forgive you. You weren't telling her because you didn't want her to be mad at you. You didn't tell her because of X, Y, or Z. You told her because you felt bad, you felt shame, you felt guilty, and that's not who you portray, and that's not who you are. So that's what I can say with regards to that. I don't know if that kind of answers your question.
I could have won her back if I wasn't masking.
Oh, see, something you learned from masking your emotions and feelings, guys.
Yeah, like you saying that, bro, just made me not want to talk about vulnerability.
Wow, crazy. That's a lot.
And
wow, that wasn't my aim, man.
It's perfect because I think that's where vulnerability starts to count.
Correct.
When it starts, because everything you're saying, I'm like, why is this nigga on my case now? Like I was
just asking a simple question.
I thought I was trying to get him out the game. What the hell?
Yeah,
you know,
man.
to like, okay, some truth bombs are hitting different areas. You know, the shame, the guilt, and things. These are things I always used to try praise that I don't ever feel.
Yeah.
Or I try unpack in a very intellectual way. But I do still struggle with that. I do struggle with shame, guilt, and things. And that's why I keep this mask on.
Yeah.
Of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And then I quickly could feel my defenses wanting to come in. Or all of a sudden, all these big ambidextrous words were coming in. I don't even know what ambidextrous is right now. But now I'm like, no, get intellectual on them and back them off.
Yeah.
Shoot them off.
Because you want to be defensive because you don't want to acknowledge that part of you, you know? And I think that's the whole beauty about recovery, right? Is that you identify things about yourself that you never knew. You actually never knew about yourself until you start doing certain things and you're like, oh, snap. Like, you know, like you just get the realization right now. You're like, oh, that's why I feel like this. And I normally get so defensive in this and that and this. But you're unpacking as to why you would feel that way. Because you've never really been vulnerable to those aspects of your life. You've never wanted to admit you have shame or guilt or whatever the case. Yeah. You're not that guy that feels that, you know? I was the guy that had no emotion. I was angry, sad, or happy. But I was 95% happy. You know what I mean? But I literally had those three. I thought, honestly, genuinely, I only had three emotions. And laugh. Happy, sad, and angry. Those are the only ones. And as I've grown in my recovery journey, you start to feel emotions that you're just like, hi, Pella, I don't know what this is. Like, why am I feeling...
Is this love that I'm feeling?
Like, why am I feeling this emotion? Or how, like, then this feeling makes me feel weird. Or, you know, this emotion doesn't really often happen. Why am I feeling this? Like, there's so many different, like, feeling grateful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, truly feeling grateful.
Yeah,
yes,
like you feel feeling, like, from where I was until now, I am so grateful. But that emotion of feeling grateful is so weird Because in a sense, in my brain, which hasn't fully formed to be normal, okay, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but I've been such a horrible person for so long that now that good things are happening in my life, I don't deserve it in my brain. But although I'm putting in the work, and although I'm doing the right things, and they're happening, and then I'm feeling grateful to God because He's the one that's made it happen, it feels wrong. So when I feel the emotion, I'm like, yo, man, I don't know how to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
Because at the back of my brain, you still like, remember those things that you did. Remember the person that you were. You know what I mean? So it's such a hard thing. I think you were saying earlier, like I shared that I've been an addict for like 15, 16 years, right? And I've only been clean for 2.5 years. So it's like my brain thought like this for 15 years. After 2 years, your brain's not just gonna go, oh yeah, you're okay, you can feel grateful, you can feel happy, you can feel this, you can feel that, and be accustomed to those emotions. You gotta build in those things and learn about emotions, learn how to process them, learn how to feel them. And then again, that's being vulnerable with yourself. Because as men, we all know as men, you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to, share your feelings and you just gotta suck it up and move on. And that's such a dumb thing. Let me just tell every man and anyone who's ever said that in the world. That is the worst possible thing that you could ever say to a man, is that like, don't share your emotions or don't be vulnerable. I think when I was a kid, I grew up with my guardian and she was very emotional, and I could cry with her and I could be happy with her and I could share all my emotions with her, and I would feel that was a safe space. And I think when she had left my life, a huge void was gone, which made me feel like I couldn't share any emotion with anybody else, or nobody else would care enough to hear those emotions. So that's my particular story as to why I couldn't share my emotion. But I was an emotional kid. I think all kids are emotional, but you know what I mean? Like I was okay with sharing my emotions until I started growing up, and then you realizing, oh, this is what the world says about men. Men shouldn't cry. Men should be strong. Men should do this. Men should do that.
Yeah.
And until you get to a point where you can't be strong anymore, right? And then you start to understand why there's such a high rate of suicide in men, and why mental health for men is such a hard topic for us to talk about, because of the what the world's portrayed about how men should behave and how men should feel. Yeah. And that for me is so frustrating, man, because I'm just like, when a man is being vulnerable, he's not being, I've said this to you as well, I'm not being vulnerable for other people, mate. I'm being vulnerable for me, because I want somebody to hear. I want somebody to just listen. I don't care. Give an example. I'm not going through the greatest time in my life right now. And last week, all I wanted was somebody to just listen. I didn't want anyone to talk to me about my problems. I didn't want anyone to give me advice about my problems. I just wanted someone to listen. And it's so beautiful, because in the recovery space, you find people that will literally just be like, yo, man, I'm right. Whether you say anything or don't say anything, I'm just gonna sit right here. You know what I mean? And that in itself is being vulnerable, and that in itself is giving you a platform to be vulnerable. And you sit in that space, and as much as things are going through, you just need that support. But like, if I didn't have that, I would go home and then be like, I can't feel sad about that. I can't feel upset about that. Whatever happens. I just got to suck it up and be strong.
Exactly.
And that's not a thing. That's not a way to live. We've got God, who is the most important person in anybody's life. And then on top of that, you've got people who really do care about you if you are in the recovery journey. So yeah, man. Sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I think I'm just very passionate about that topic specifically.
It's your podcast, man.
Yeah.
Me. I'm here for the great ride and the great knowledge you're sharing with me, bro. I think it opens my eyes up to like, hey, man, look to those who are ahead of you in the journey. I get to know you on two different levels, at work and also within the recovery spaces. And so I get to see some things that I won't see in recovery, and see some things in recovery that I won't see this side. And it's like, I can easily forget that you are ahead of me in the journey. Yeah. And that's not to be competitive, that's to learn from. Correct. That's to grasp. Because sometimes recovery can easily get up here.
Oof. Yo, man, you're telling me about it.
Recovery, 3 months.
Are you talking about like the complacency, or just like the fact that you're doing it, so now you need that like that recognition, or you need that like people to be like, oh, get off your case because I'm in recovery type of thing?
I think more in convincing myself that I'm okay now.
Oh,
I almost don't need it.
Yeah.
So.
But our best thinking got us here. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
And that's a hard line to accept, because it's like,
yeah.
but I still am operating on my best thinking. It's like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, as much as it's not completely relying on my best thinking.
Yeah.
But I'm chopping at that tree constantly. But you being ahead of the journey, I need to humble myself and learn, because recovery, I've had it time and time again where I come in and I'm like, it's been 3 months. You understand how hard it was, man, just for an hour?
Yeah.
For me, you understand how? And it's like, I'm so proud of me, and then I feel like I can advise, or I feel like I can just be, and it's like, hey man, treat this as. I think I might even replace the word selfish with respect.
Yeah.
I need to respect my recovery.
Correct.
Because if I respect my recovery, I establish value. I establish the values that I'm going to
comes
live
with
by.
it. Correct. Yeah.
Then comes the nice suit and ties, the mooring lines, and the accountability, and the ENTP, saying a lot of, but really the foundation of
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
Stay humble. It wasn't by my strength; it was by God alone that I'm here.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And so it encourages me to become more vulnerable now.
Yeah.
Because I've been, it's funny that we're talking about vulnerability, your Sunday morning.
Crazy. I had the craziest Sunday morning, guys. That was a lot.
My week, everything has been around this vulnerability spot. And I've been taking it to God. This morning, I was like, God, here's the situation. I feel stupid for doing all of this. I know nothing is overly wrong. Nothing is necessarily messed up about the night before. All it is about the night before is I missed a rugby match. Looking for parking. Cause
the game was great, by the way. We won like 57 something.
I was following online.
Oh, that's so sad. Outside the stadium.
Outside the stadium. 26-7. That's
32. Whatever. Yeah. It was so fun, by the way. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, tried to play it off even after the game. Oh, good game, man. 54-19. Oh, our boys.
Wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, who is the Zebra team anyway? Yeah, I don't even know what one of them looks like.
Damn, crazy.
Why? Because I was outside the damn stadium. All these things were going wrong, and meeting up with girls that I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Even them, I had to be vulnerable. Unfortunately, with a drunk person, which didn't work, because I was like, dude,
people don't listen.
I want to go home. I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk to these women because I have nothing to offer them. Everything in me is saying I don't belong in this space. Please get me out. I should have said that when he first offered in the beginning of the day. Not at 7 o'clock at night in the car on the way to go pick up these girls. But yeah, Doug, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, God, you know every single word that's gonna come out my mouth before it even comes out. It was written all your time ago.
Yeah.
Before I was even formed, before I was in the secret place. This is Psalms 139. Go read it for yourself. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing that and then I'm becoming more, God, I really want to do this. It's beating in my chest.
Yeah.
I want to go smoke. I want to go drink. In that vulnerability, what I've noticed is that as the prayer is going, I start unpacking. Because when I'm not unpacking, I'm worried the whole time. This
Correct.
is so frustrating. This is so much. But it went to God.
Surrender.
I felt insecure. I felt like I couldn't be the Judah I once was
Yeah.
for this occasion. And so now I'm trying to match that Judah internally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I'm ignoring conversations with you now, God, all of a sudden, because I know that this is everywhere I don't belong. And so God, would you start working in my heart? I've, much like on a drunk night, squandered my finance. No, before even this night, my finance was in a bad place because of circumstances.
Yeah.
And in those circumstances, I'm so justified, bro. For once, it's so good to say my money got drained by me filling a need for someone or me serving. But I still woke up like a drunk person with the babalas this morning, saying like, what was I doing yesterday?
Yeah.
Why did I let my thinking get me to that place? Gulunkulu. Now I don't have guap. I don't have this. You know what happened? I called my friend this morning. I started venting to him. Hey, Fitz, I was feeling immature. I was feeling like this. I was feeling like this. I was feeling like this. And I just was asking God for. He's like, nigga, you left some money at my house about 2 weeks back. It's still sitting there. So when you're ready to get it, come get it. And I'm like,
Oh, damn.
God, I pulled my heart out to you.
See how he works in so many mysterious ways, man.
And then you start answering prayer.
Yeah.
You know?
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Vulnerability matters.
It does. I think just on a, because I mean, you said a lot there and there's a lot to unpack, but I think you were saying that you kind of were in a situation where you found yourself and you felt like that wasn't the space that you should have been in, and you should have said no that many times before, or whatever, taken up the offer.
I shouldn't have given him the damn rugby ticket.
First of all,
My bad. Forgive me when you see this, bro.
You're being vulnerable, bro. It's okay.
Yeah.
He gets it. No, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, I think this is why I tell you recovery and community is so important. And for everybody out there, so why you must have so many vitally important people. Because for me, if I find myself in a situation like that, okay, I'm privileged enough to say I have a car, so I could just jump in my car and drive away. But like, for example, you don't, right? But you have my number, right? You know I'm at home, right? So, and this is why I love calling people out, and it's not being horrible or trying to like make them feel bad. But at the end of the day, you have people in your life who care enough about you to help you in situations like that, right? And it's frustrating for me when you don't use those things. Then you come and tell me these stories, and I'm like, bro, where? Like, did you tell me? No, you didn't. Because at 7 o'clock at night, you're somewhere and you don't want to be that. So that somewhere, phone me, mate, and be like, yo, man, Gali, I'm in a situation, dog. I don't want to be here. Say less, Judah. I'm on my way. Just send me location, and then I'll be there in 15 minutes. You get what I'm saying? And it's like I have people like that in my life.
Yeah.
And I want to be that person in many people's lives. And I don't quite know how to further tell people that I'm that person in their life. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think if you know who I am and you know me, you'll know that I'm that person who would be there. Because I was the guy calling you at 7 o'clock at night, but it wouldn't be 7, it would be 3 in the morning, telling you I'm in a prison cell because I got locked up for drinking and driving. Or I'd be phoning you at 1 in the morning telling you there's Nigerians looking for me because I stole their drugs. You know, it's like that type of thing. Like there's people who I could have phoned in those situations who I could still phone now today, you know? And I want to be that for somebody, you know? And that's why we have the recovery group and we have the community, because when you are feeling in those, you at that moment in your life where you know you've made a bad decision, and maybe it's the guilt and the shame that made you not phone me, that you just mentioned, right?
Exactly.
Because you're not that guy.
I didn't want to be vulnerable about it.
Yeah, you don't want to be vulnerable about it. But another thing is, I'm not going to come and fetch you now. I want to question what you were doing. I'm going to say, all right, Judah, where we going? You're going to be like, nah, dog, I just want to go home. I'll drop you at home and then I'll leave you. When you're ready...
Go out and...
Right? I'm not that guy.
Taking you home.
Yeah. And I think that's like and that's what I think, which you're mentioning as well, like when you're 3 months in recovery, like you like, oh, I got this. Nah, and it's you got to understand. And I love that you use the word respect, because you got to respect the journey and you got to respect the people who are in the journey as well. you know. And for me, understanding how recovery is and what a space mentally you can be in when you're in those type of environments. Like, I don't want to talk about why I made a bad decision. Like, I already feel shitty. I already feel guilty. I already feel shame. I already feel all the bad things. Like, I know that coming to you, right? So I'm not going to get there and be like, yo, Judo, so just unpack for me, mate. What happened today? And like, why we got to this place? No. The only thing I'm doing that I have in my brain is get Judo out of that situation before it gets worse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of recovery, and that's the beauty of being on a journey for a certain period of time, because you learn this type of stuff. Someone in 3 months recovery is not going to know that. So if roles were reversed and I phoned you after you've been in recovery for 3 months, your first go-to is like, oh, this is such an idiot. And then you go there and you get there and you're like, bro, what is actually wrong with you? Cause of performance. Yo, let's go.
Let me go help him finish this bender.
Yeah, first, all that as well, you know.
That's another dangerous thing.
That's another dangerous thing. And then in the car, you're like, yo, man, why did you do that? You know, you shouldn't be in these pits. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? I don't want to reinforce the flop that I've made. I want to know that I could rely on somebody that could come and help me. Not just say that I'm not going to be held accountable for what I've done, just not in the moment. Yeah. Because there's a time and a place for everything. And the time and the place is not right now. Because eventually I'm going to feel in a place where I feel terrible for bringing you out in that situation to help me. And then I'm going to have to apologize and come and speak to you about it. And in that moment is when I have that conversation with you. Yeah, man, so Judah, I get it, man. And I'm happy that I was able to help you. But like, what was going on? Right? How did we get to that point? What were we going to do to prevent us from getting to that point? Yeah. You know, and then you kind of can form things that can help you against those things. Okay, cool. I'm going to the rugby. Who am I going with? That guy, the last time I went with that guy, or that guy's friends, the last time I went with him. I can't do that. Yeah. Let me find out if Gali's going to the rugby. Let me go find out if this guy's going to rugby, you know? Yeah. Let me try and go with a different group of people. Right? Because for me, it's like I can experience so many good things with a certain people. If I enjoyed those same things with this group of people, it wouldn't end the same. You know what I mean? Because they're not, you know? Exactly. So you got to kind of pick and understand those type of things. And I think another thing is, which I'm not sure you've done, and I obviously don't want to call you out on it, but like...
Come at me, bro.
Anybody in recovery as well is like... A big thing of recovery and moving forward in your journey is to cut off people, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you done that?
No.
So do you? Oh no, never mind.
Only exes, Doug, because they have. It's in the name, ex.
No. Not like girlfriends, man. Not like,
that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that's been able to be cut.
No,
so far.
I'm talking about like human mates, like mates that, like, you know, I've been friends with some people from the time I was in grade 7, grade 8, for like so many years, and I've literally cut them off like last year or 2 years ago when I came into recovery. Yeah. Do you know why I cut them off? Because those people no longer serve any good in my life. Right? When I was an addict, we shared the same thoughts, we shared the same whatevers, we like to go to the same parties, we like to do the same things. But my life has evolved in such a way that you're still continuing to do those things. I no longer do those things. I still love you, I still care about you. Yeah. But me and you are no longer on the terms of you can phone me up and ask me for money, or you can phone me up and say, yo, I need help with this, because I'm not going to help you, because I've made a conscious decision to change my life for the better, and I cannot have that interrupting. That's why I say recovery selfish, right? Because I have to be selfish toward that. So the hardest thing that I did, because I'm a people pleaser, I love to make everybody happy. Like literally everybody. And I will walk into a room and be able to make everyone laugh, or whatever the case may be, to make people feel welcome, to make people feel okay and at ease, right? Because I'm a people pleaser. So me cutting off those people was probably and is probably the hardest thing that I had to do in my recovery. Yeah. Because those were my friends, you know? That was the foundation of who Gulliver was built up on. Yeah. Until I had to come to the realization that these are just human beings that don't really care about you, Gulliver. They care about you, but when you have money and you can buy dope, or you can buy this, or you can buy that.
Because they really don't, if you don't have that.
Correct.
And it's so hard, because to you, it's like, oh, come on. Even then, when they don't have money, I don't go to them. But it's like, no. You don't feel the same way. They don't feel the same way you feel about them.
Correct. Yeah.
But to answer your question, no, I haven't really done much cutting. I think I've allowed the cutting that has happened. I've allowed situations to escalate to the point of there's no other choice but to cut them off or each other off. So kind of like wait for the mutual place to be like, okay, he also doesn't like me. Perfect. Yeah, let's cut it. But
that's. I get what you're saying, but that's also like a very toxic way of doing it, I think.
No, it's very lazy, and it's very...
You're
it's
waiting
very...
for like a really terrible thing to happen before thingy.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, so just like waiting for a terrible thing to happen within the friendship for it to kind of cut off. But what I was saying...
Complacency.
Yeah. But what I was saying is that you don't have to do that. I think you can just be open and honest with somebody. Like, yo, man, we are mates, and we were mates, and we have been mates for a very, very long time. But my life right now, my friend, does not align with the life you're living. If you're going to change your life, sure thing, we can hang out. Sure thing, we can go for coffee. Sure thing, we can go for lunch. Sure thing, we can, you know what I mean? But until your life aligns with where I'm projecting in my life, we can't hang out, dog. And it's not like if I see you at Knowles or if I see you anywhere, it's not like I'm gonna be rude or whatever. I'll still come up to you and say, what up, how you doing? We have a little bit of a catch up on a normal, like, you know, we meet out in random. But like me and you are no longer gonna make plans to go out together.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't end well for me. Because you're still living a life that I don't want to live. And I think that's a conscious decision that you need to make, man. And I think you said you wanted to respect yourself and respect your recovery journey.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me that you want to respect those things, those are the type of hard things you got to do, man.
Yeah, man.
And I don't want to say unfortunately, it's fortunate, mate. Because when you do it, you'll see the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you have friends outside of that space. You have me. I don't know if you classify me as your friend. You know what I mean. But you got people, man, and I know you got people in the space of recovery and that want the best for you, man. So I'm hoping that you can make the right decision moving forward. And I mean, you got to bump your head a lot of times, man. You know, recovery is not just a thing of like, today I wake up, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm changing my life. I'm going to be in recovery, and you think it's going to be a clean slate and everything's going to be great. I mean, for some people it works out, and that's 100% amazing. Big ups to you, man. But I've been in recovery for 3.5 years, and for a whole year of that, I relapsed continuously.
Yeah.
And because you have to bump your head that many times, and you got to learn from your mistakes, in order to when you know it, you'll feel it, man. And when, like you said, you spoke to God and you were vulnerable and you surrendered it to Him. You're like, God, I really want to do this, and I really want to do it right. And then you like phoned your mate and you were venting to him, and then he's like, yo, man, like you left some money here. That's a sign. Like, you know, not all hope is gone. Like, and however you want to look at that sign or that situation, but there's a real big positive, and I hope that you can grasp that and like move with it, man. Because that's what this is all about, man. Learning, understanding, giving back. You know, the whole reason why I'm doing this podcast thing, man, is to give back to people who have lived a similar life to me, or living a similar life to you, or whatever the case may be. And I'm so excited for the episodes, because I have a current mate who's in current active addiction, and he's a functioning addict. Like, I want to understand in my brain how you do it, mate, on a day-to-day basis, like, or like on a weekend to weekend basis. And we're going to hear from people like that. Or,
give me your metabolism.
No, but I don't want it. Like, I'm cool. Like, you do whatever you need to do. But like, that's a super cool episode that's going to come out. Or like a episode on like another mate of mine who's serving at church and is who's leading worship and stuff. And he was in the recovery house with me, and he's come out and he's like, you know, working for the church. I don't want to say too much, but and he's gonna be on here, and we're gonna hear his story, and like, you know, so many different other aspects of recovery, so we can actually really get the gist of it, and supporters, people's sisters, mothers, that supported an addict. Like, how did you go through it without enabling the person you love? Like, you know, especially mothers, because it's so difficult for a mother to say no to their son or their daughter, you know, because all you want to do is help them, but you helping them makes them worse, which is like a crazy concept to get your head around. Hey. So I'm super, super excited for all of those, but I'm just really glad that we could speak on vulnerability today, and get to the gritty of vulnerability, and how vulnerability is such a positive step in your recovery, in all aspects. Yeah.
Can people expect more of this length of conversation? We've been going an hour. That's why we've had to press record twice.
Oh damn! Yeah. I think, I think vulnerability is just a very big topic. So I want to say my podcast is kind of going to be an hour, but I'd say about 40 minutes to an hour. But 40 minutes is probably my cap. I'd like to keep it nice and simple.
I love people who've never started podcasts talking like they know the figures.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm just for clarity, I really don't. But as you said, I'm a gabbermouth, man. I can talk for days.
That's a beautiful thing. But
yeah, so as I said, we got a lot of people coming up, a lot of things to speak about, and I'm so excited for this journey, man. And yeah, my website is also going to be out pretty soon, so people can obviously speak about that more when it officially goes out. But obviously, thank you to your platform and giving me the platform.
I just gave you scaffolding, Doug.
No. I mean, you've done the groundwork, man.
This is the type of alcoholic I was. See that right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just finish everything.
Me, I finish now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Doug. Let's pray it out.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. And yeah, we look forward to the next episode. And thank you, Judah, for co-hosting with me today. It was amazing.
It's a pleasure, Doug.
But yeah, we spoke about real positive topics, real hard topics. Yeah, I just hope that you guys kind of took something out of this conversation, man, and just can put that in your recovery or in your life, man, moving forward. But yeah, so grateful to have you and to be supporting. So yeah, thank you. You want to pray us out, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Lord, thank you, Father, that you're such a loving Father. Thank you that you knew us before we were formed in our mother's wombs. Thank you, God, that you gave us these hearts, these organs, these different things that make us people, so that we could give them back to you, Lord. Even when we feel we've damaged so much of this temple, especially in recovery. You know, when you start looking at your life as a temple, you're like, man, I didn't put so much graffiti all over my father's temple. But we thank you for our scars, Lord, that we can be vulnerable about them because you are the one who's healing us. You are the one who's walking the journey with us.
Amen.
We thank you, God, for what you're doing here, for this platform. And we just pray, Nkulunkulu, that through your Spirit, that whoever needs to hear this, whoever needs to know more about recovery, whoever needs to know more about their situation, whether it be addiction or someone else in addiction, Father, we pray that this be a tool. We pray that this be a vessel. We pray that you use us as vessels. Thank you for Gulliver's hearts. Thank you, God, for what you've instilled in him and for what you are motivating him to do about his journey of recovery. Pray that you bless him, oh God. Pray that you bless his hands as he works on building up this podcast. Pray that you bless my hands. And we pray for Jesus to be known in addicts' life that might not know him, or who do know him, might they encounter him through their addiction, that they may walk in recovery. We love you, Lord, and thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, man. Super powerful. Cheers, guys. Peace.
Amsalu podcast, we out. There's 3 things to challenge you while watching these episodes, or things to keep in mind. What stands out to you in the conversations you listen to and in the conversations you watch? Secondly, what does it reveal about God? That thing that stands out to you, or in the conversations, what do you see? And then thirdly, what's one practical step in obedience that you can take from hearing these podcasts? And with that last step, keep it short, specific, and doable today. Would love to hear from you guys. Would love to engage with you guys on some of these things. So do hit us up on the gram. We are on Facebook as well. And yeah, drop a comment on YouTube, drop a like, share, subscribe, all those nice things to perpetuate the dialogue, the ongoing conversation, because the podcast doesn't end behind this screen here. but it continues in our conversations and coffees with friends, people we meet and engage day to day. So God bless. Lots of love from me. See you in the next episodes.